Hey, it's George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. For many, many years, I've been working with independent insurance agents and have been frustrated with a lot of them, and the fact that they have they don't really sell the life insurance that they should. And of course, we all know the numbers on having the second and the third policy, particularly the third policy, being a life insurance policy if at all possible. But now, and we didn't do that because there were a lot of problems with a lot of agencies, particularly smaller agencies in smaller towns and all, really didn't have the opportunity to be able to reach the companies that they would have liked to have reached. Well, as I watched technology grow and saw it, and then I been talking to Marlin Bollinger and working with him and his staff, and he's a general agency. We'll tell you a little bit about it in a minute, but he explained to me that through technology now, any agent, any independent agent, whatever the size is, can actually get quotes online, can get insurance right online, and it's a lot easier to do. So I ask, and we don't do this normally, but I think this is such a good product and such a great tool for agencies that I wanted to show it to you. I'm not getting a percentage of it, incidentally, so I can go ahead and show it to you. But I want you to, because once you see it, you'll understand. Let me introduce you to Marlin now. He is in Florida. I'll show you his picture here in just a second. He is in Florida. He's with the president, of course, and CEO. He's been around a long, long time. He was with Travelers, and I think that has been very, very interesting to him because during his Travelers experience, he was able to learn how independent agents worked as opposed to just life insurance per se. And that background has just held him to terrific stead. So Marlin, how about you kind of either back at my concept, or was I right or wrong on that concept?
No, you're absolutely right. And well, first of all, thanks for having me on your Monday morning program today, George. What we found with so many property casualty agencies, in addition to your independent life agencies out there, is they didn't really have a simple way to quote multiple companies for, we'll talk about term insurance today, but even permanent insurance, and compare the premiums for these companies, in addition to doing two other things. Number one, determining how much insurance a client might need, and secondly, do some kind of predetermination of the health status of the client, so when they do quote a company and a underwriting class, they get the proper underwriting class. And a limited number of agencies across the country have adopted this tool, which we're going to call Drop Ticket. So that's really the purpose of us getting together today from my end to share with the agents what Drop Ticket is all about and how beneficial it can really be for their agencies and simple to manipulate and maneuver.
Good. Let's look at it.
Well, you can find the Drop Ticket at bollinger.dropticket.com, and this is our home page. The first thing an agent's required to do, or an agency, is to sign up. And once they sign up, it's a simple procedure, and here's a copy you can see of the sign-up page, some basic information about you. At that point in time, we're going to ask you to give us a copy of your certificate at the bottom of the page. As you can see, the little rectangle down here, and send that back to us. Now, what we do at that point is we forward that signature to our Drop Ticket people, and I'll explain as we go along exactly why we do that and what that means for you.
We have to be licensed.
Now you've got.
Excuse me, I just want to ask you: the agent has to be licensed in life insurance, right? Or
yeah, absolutely.
somebody there.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Someone's got to be licensed. We've got to obviously sell the product and market the product through a licensed agent in the respective state.
Right.
So now we give you a login. And when you get your login, you can go back to the main page, the Drop Ticket page, and log in to our Drop Ticket program. Now, a couple of things you're going to find in the Drop Ticket program. The first thing is a needs calculator. You know, I hate to say it, but life insurance over the last several years has become more of a transactional business than a true fact-finding evaluation business with the clients. And I think it's time that we got back to the basics in life insurance. And one of those basics is really going through a fact finder to determine exactly how much life insurance your client may need and the reasons why. And one of the thought processes behind this from a marketing and a sales perspective is the fact that if you're asking your clients to complete this information with you, it's information they've provided. So the need that shows up ultimately is the need created by the information they shared with you. And obviously they're going to be more prone to purchase that amount of insurance because it's based upon what they truly need, based upon their numbers that they provided for you.
Let me ask you something.
And we've also found.
Let me ask you. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry, but it's intriguing to me. Does the agency, as a practical matter, go face to face with these customers generally?
No, not with the drop ticket program. This can all be done over the phone, which makes it really doable and practical for any property casualty agent anywhere. So if it's an agency that wants to put their big toe in the water and test the waters, this is a great way to do it. It's cost effective, it's productive, it's profitable, and it's something that can be done in a matter of less than 30 minutes to conclude the entire interview and drop the ticket with the client.
Okay, thanks.
Now the needs calculator, one other point I'd like to make about the needs calculator is we find that agents that do use our needs calculator sell 30% more premium than those agents that do not. The reason for that being they don't pigeonhole a client. For example, I mentioned transactional sales. All too often over the past several years, even independent life agents have been selling life insurance like it were unit sales, $250, $500, $1 million of 10-year, 20-year coverage.
Mm-hmm.
When we do a true needs analysis, we find that maybe that $1 million sale is $1.5 million to cover the necessary things that we need to cover to allow a family to remain in their own world if the breadwinners are no longer with us. So that's the needs calculator. The next thing we do is provide what we call the health analyzer. This is probably one of the most important parts to complete of the drop ticket program, because here we go through a series of questions with a potential client referencing their health status. And we don't have to complete everything because there may be some questions in here they're really not aware of, they can't answer. But if we get a good basic understanding, even a height and weight of the client can make a big difference in how we quote the case from an underwriting category. So assuming we get a good health analyzer here, and we've done that with the client, next we move on to the quote engine. So now we put in the dollar amount that we need for insurance, the duration of the term coverage, say in this case that we want to provide, and next we're going to get our quote page. This is our quote page here, and if you'll notice, looking on the extreme right-hand column, you see a lot of red dots. Those are our red lights, which means don't go there, because based upon the information you provided in Health Analyzer, these companies won't give you that classification if you apply there. Right below that, you're going to see the green light. The green light's going to tell you this is where we go. You're going to be able to compare multiple companies, and these aren't companies that aren't well known. It's companies like MetLife, AIG, United of Omaha, Principal, Protective, AXA, John Hancock, and pretty much any other major life insurance company you can think of.
Wow, that's big.
Most of them are represented in the drop ticket program. So once you get to that point, you're also going to see what's required from an underwriting perspective. So you see, can we go back to that page, Greg? Is that possible? Let's see if we can go page up. There we go. Sorry about that.
No,
but I think this is important.
Yeah.
You're also going to see there what underwriting requirements you'll need from a medical standpoint. So you see the little nurse's cap there. You're going to need a paramed exam. You're going to have to provide some fluids, and you're going to have a blood draw. So those are the three requirements you see there for this this prospective client.
Let me ask you something right there, because this is fascinating to me. When you send this out and you represent all those companies, we're seeing one page. I assume there may be 8 or 10 pages of this, maybe.
It narrows it down to one fairly comprehensive page, and the reason it does that, George, and that's a great question, by the way, is it zeroes in on the underwriting category. If you did not know the underwriting category, you can see multiple pages of quotes. So in a case like this, let's say we went through the health analyzer and it came out that this prospective client should be a standard non-tobacco user as far as the underwriting classification. However, they may be a little bit shorter than the average person and a little bit heavier than the average person. So what it's going to do, with all other things being equal, based upon that height and weight, it's going to send us to a company that is much more liberal with their height and weight chart.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, now we've decided which company we want to select, and we've pretty much clicked and selected that company. Now we go to the simple application. The application is essentially, and this is what I'd call preliminary application, or the drop ticket application. It's 2 pages. 1 page is basic information about, 3 pages actually. First page is basic information about the client, name, address, phone number, things like driver's license number, etc. And then we have a page 2, which is a beneficiary page. So we go through that with the client. And then the 3rd page is the agent report page, which is very simple to complete. The entire 3-page process here, the simple application questions, will take no more than 5 minutes total. When they do that, we move on, and we now drop the ticket. And once we drop the ticket, we're pretty much done. So the agent says, we say, thank you, we're going to take it from here. Now what happens from there is we have a contract with a company called the Life Insurance Center. They will call the client. They will arrange for the exam at a mutually agreeable time with the client. They will also contact the client and complete all the questions necessary to send the application to us for processing. So often, agents fill out paper applications and they send them to us, and once we get them, our case manager noticed that there are some incomplete and inconsistencies in the application, so they may have to go back to the agent and say, please answer question 14A, 15C, and 17B. And that's not uncommon. That takes place in approximately 40% of the applications we receive directly in the office from the agent. By using the drop ticket, have you not only determined the life insurance need, the health underwriting classification of the prospective client, but now you've also given enough information that the Life Insurance Center is going to call the client, complete the part 1 of the application, which is the non-medical part of the application. The exam company is called the client. They'll complete the part 2, the exam. They will put both of them together, and when it's in good order, it is electronically transmitted to us, which means once we get the application, it's ready to go. It will go to the respective insurance company that same day. It saves the agent as much as 2 weeks in processing time in getting a policy issued.
The agent probably.
Now, once the
agent probably doesn't know all this is going on during all this time. He doesn't see part of it, does he, or does he? He knows
he or she does not have to worry about it. I mean, really, like when we say thank you, we'll take it from here, they're done. The next thing they're going to see is a physical policy being sent to them for delivery with a client, and for them to pick up a check or just to deliver the client to the client based upon what they've done prior to that.
Wow.
So you can't bind these contracts, which you can if you're out with a client in a paper app, but you can certainly do it all on the phone, do it from the convenience of your office in the client's home or the client's office, and take care of this entire process in 30 minutes. We take it from there. We complete the underwriting. If any attending physician statements are required from the exam, we get them. We secure everything needed to get the policy issued and delivered to the agent in good order to be delivered to the client.
Wow.
It's that simple. It's totally effective, and it's extremely profitable, not only for the agent, but also for us, because it saves all of us time and money in the long run.
Boy, that's phenomenal. This is so simple that I keep asking these questions because, I mean, I've never seen anything this simple. Did you guys help develop this? I shouldn't have asked you before that, or is this?
We did not, but we were involved in the early stages of distribution.
Yep.
And there is a charge or a fee charged to us to use the drop ticket, obviously, because we purchased it from a third-party vendor.
Yeah.
However, we do not pass any cost on to the agents or the agency force. So there's no reduction in commission for using our drop ticket program.
To the agent. Now, does the agent know about what commission he or she's going to get? Is that?
That's all done in advance when we contract the agent, and that all depends upon the type of contract that's purchased. For example, 10-year term insurance most commonly purchases 10-year, 20-year, or 30-year, and normally the 10-year policies pay a little bit less. The 20 and 30s pay a little bit more. So that's all put together with the agent in advance prior to dropping the ticket.
And I know that from having interviewed you before and working with you before, that you have contacts in every state to be able to send them if they want the real live human Bollinger representative. You can still do that.
Yeah, we do. We work with agents throughout the entire country.
Do those people get involved in the drop ticket? Probably not at all, do they? It's probably another. I mean, you're representative.
No, Well, when we actually provide a qualified agent to do joint work, and we do with several property casualty agents in various parts of the country, the agents that work with them tend to be fairly sophisticated people that have been in the business, understand the business. We do a vetting process here before we make any introduction, but that's normally more involved in advanced sales, possibly, for an example, working with a commercial account on a buy-sell or a key person arrangement or a business buyout through one structure or another, or estate planning. Those are the key areas which we see a lot of joint work being done.
I see. Well, now the one thing I want to come back to, because I think it's awfully important, and I keep asking the question because it seems so simple. They don't have to pay you anything to sign up on this, do they?
No, not at all.
I mean,
not at all.
God, why wouldn't an agent do it?
I'm going to discuss. Right. Just a little commercial. We'll be interviewed in the May edition of the May release of Rough Notes.
Oh, great,
so
great.
We're going to be talking to them a little bit about the drop ticket and certain products that work within property casualty agencies.
That's terrific.
So watch out for that.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. And I know that we're going to be working with you all along here with Agencies Online and our other organizations, and that's great. Well, I tell you, let me get your contact information up there, will you please, Marlin? Yeah.
There we go.
Guys, agents, go ahead and find out about it. It's so simple. I can't believe it. That's why I love this thing. I'm.
Yeah, and we're extremely happy and welcome the opportunity just to speak with an agent or an agency about their marketing plans if they're just getting into the life end. We're so used to doing it. We're extremely objective. We understand it. We understand their mentality, and we certainly, with no obligation to them, provide what we feel is qualified consultation on our part.
Well, I'm happy to know all this, and you can be sure I'm going to be spreading the word in the rest of my career here, and I love it, and I'm really happy that somebody hit me on the head and say, hey, go to Bollinger and do this thing. I do have a last note for everybody else, for the people who are listening. Remember, you can go into the Agencies Online or the Rough Notes front page or whatever, and get the list of the archives of all of these. Marlin has another one on there prior to this, which is very interesting because it kind of leads into this one and the way he works. And I mentioned it kind of in passing there, but you can go back to hear him on that, and you can see all these things by categories. So you go to life insurance, and there's Marlin, and that's great. So we'll want you to know about that. Don't forget to go to your email. We have a live webinar, and never have done this before, but the president of Agencies Online, Val Jordan, who's a heck of a good speaker, is going to be doing when she's getting a great response. And you can go and if you want to sign up for that, no cost, of course. You can go into the email today. It's going to be in May, and that'll be great. But see her here; she's good, and she's going to talk to you about, well, marketing agencies as opposed to advertising agencies. And it's really an interesting approach. Marlin, thank you again. This is good stuff. I love it. This stuff.
My pleasure, George. It's always fun and interesting to spend a few minutes with you.
Well, I ask those stupid questions, I guess. But and the good thing about it is that I've never sold any life insurance, so I'm sure learning. Okay, bud. Thanks again, and we'll be seeing the rest of you next Monday morning.